Hi, I'm Dr. Salcedo, your conscious gynecologist. I'm so glad you're here. I'm a board certified full scope OBGYN and a certified nutrition network practitioner, and I focus on the root cause of gynecologic disease and optimizing women's health. In today's video, we'll be addressing the question of how fruit can actually cause weight gain. And yes, even fruit, which is natural, can cause significant insulin resistance, weight gain, and gynecologic problems. So let's get to it. This might be you. You might be in your 30s or 40s and you're starting to notice some weight gain. You're starting to notice your skin is just not the same. You're noticing heavier and more painful periods. You might even be noticing some irregular periods. Some women with this body type tend to be a little bit more slender. They have weight in their midsection and they have pretty bad acne. These ladies, oftentimes they come and see me and they have this self-described really great diet. They are kind of whole food plant-based. They don't go out to eat. They're really intentional and careful about their diet of what we know, and they tend to use a lot of natural foods. They usually avoid fast food as well, which is really good. But there are also people who sometimes will eat a lot more fruit. They're interested and they really like acai bowls or bowls with lots and lots of different fruit and flavors, and they're pretty delicious. I definitely know. But for some women of this body type, the more diobesogenic body type, they are really high chance of getting diabetes, and I'm going to share why. A lot of these women also just don't understand how this good diet, this natural diet, can be impacting their gynecologic health. And I can totally see how that's frustrating, but I'm going to share with you a little bit about the biology about why that is. So, what do we know about fruit and the molecules in fruit, but also sugars in general? So these molecules of sugar are monosaccharides. Monosaccharides means it's just one molecule. It's a glucose molecule. And fructose is just one sugar molecule. It's fructose. It's just a fructose molecule. Those both are called monosaccharides. And then we have something called a disaccharide, which is sucrose. And sucrose is also commonly known as table sugar. And it actually has a 50-50 disaccharide component of fructose and glucose together connected. It's also the major component of high fructose corn syrup as well. So glucose is processed by insulin, and it's taken up by virtually every single cell in your body. 80% of your cells of your body, when you ingest just glucose, is taken up by your peripheral cells. 20% of it relies on your liver to convert it to the storage molecule called glycogen. And glycogen, by and large, is uptake by your muscles, and it stores, and a little bit extra of this glucose is turned into fat for fat production. Fructose is also that monosaccharide I was telling you about, and it comes from fruit, and it's only processed by the liver. Insulin does not process fructose. So how does the liver process fructose? Before I get there, if you're interested in learning about these root cause analysis of how we get gynecologic disease, please like or subscribe, share a comment, share with a friend. When you do that, it actually helps the algorithm try to help reach more women who are looking for the same information that you are. So let's get back to it. Fructose, the monosaccharide. How does the liver process fructose? The liver metabolizes fructose into glucose, lactose, and glycogen. And there are no limitations on the system of metabolism for fructose. The more you eat, the more you metabolize. When the glycogen stores are full, when your liver has processed the fructose into glycogen, and your muscles have taken enough of that glycogen, the excess fructose is changed directly into fat through a process called de novo lipogenesis. That's actually what we call liver fat or fatty liver. Now, fructose overfeeding can increase de novo lipogenesis fivefold and replaces glucose with calorically equal amounts of fructose, and that increases liver fat by 38 to 40% in just 8 days. it's actually the reason why people nowadays get fatty liver. Kind of the same process with alcohol consumption as well. But fatty liver from the processing of fructose, okay, through aldehydration and fructokinase and all that phosphorylation we learned in medical school, causes this fatty liver, de novo lipogenesis. And fatty liver, you guessed it, leads to insulin resistance. So we do know that fructose directly causes fatty liver, which causes insulin resistance. Okay, so then we have sucrose, which is a disaccharide, which means it has an equal part of fructose and glucose connected together. It's actually also table sugar, which is actually also high fructose corn syrup, but in different ratio quantities in different processed foods out there. It's actually one of the reasons why high fructose corn syrup is so difficult for us in our body and causes so much insulin resistance. So when your body processes sucrose, your liver has to break down the fructose into glycogen, but because it's already trying to store the glucose and turn it into glycogen, there's actually not enough room for the fructose to be processed into glycogen. And so it turns into de novo lipogenesis or fatty liver. This is the main driver and the main reason why sucrose and high fructose corn syrup is so detrimental to our body, because it just shuttles glucose and fructose and the processing into what we call fatty liver. This is also why it's not one of those immediate effects. It's not like we get these giant spikes in our glucose. Actually, some people do, but in studies, they kind of show that fructose and sucrose actually show more of a stable glucose spike. But the reason is because over time, this process causes de novo lipogenesis or fatty liver, and it's really hard to quantify, okay? So just be careful, because sucrose and fructose can be really detrimental to our bodies because of the fact that it can cause fatty liver and insulin resistance from that. So what's the plan? Now, when ladies have heavy periods, irregular periods, uterine fibroids, we know that these are highly associated with insulin resistance and body inflammation. The body inflammation that we see in non-alcoholic fatty liver disease or just fatty liver. And so the recommendation, if you are looking for someone or something that can help you treat your chronic gynecologic disorders in a long-term approach, a long view approach, then reducing your consumption of fruit, high fructose corn syrup, and sugar in general just makes sense, because it decreases the amount of insulin resistance that occurs from fatty liver. And what we do know is that if your liver's inflamed, it's going to start to release all these inflammatory cytokines that cause a lot of the gynecologic disorders that we know. So let's figure out a challenge. Now, we do know that our ancestors used to eat a lot more fruits than we do. And it's like that, gosh, like, why is that? Because our ancestors ate fruit. Like, I don't understand why fruit is such a big deal. But remember, modern culture and modern agriculture techniques have created fruit to be way more plentiful in our diet. And so we're not just eating it in the summer during the harvest. It's actually things that we're eating all year long and still causing those high fructose spikes that cause significant strain to our liver. It causes significant weight gain that we see in modern society. So the challenge is, if this just makes sense, it would be great to see how significant limitations or elimination of fructose would play a role in improvement of your gynecologic health. Now remember, ladies, this is long view stuff. This is not quick acting stuff like birth control pills or IUDs or surgical management. When ladies are looking for root cause analysis, root cause, a focus to their gynecologic disorder, we know that really looking at the inciting cause is what makes sense. Now, if you're in a stable situation and you're not having heavy bleeding, this may be something that a lot of our patients would benefit from. So, if you found this video helpful, go ahead and like or subscribe. I'm so glad you're here. We'll go ahead and put some of the scientific papers that help drive home the point in the show notes, and we'll see you at your next video. So there is a fruit. Oh man. Okay.